I count every day.
8th grade, I made a dumb move. Some dude tried to hate and I gave him the 1-2. Analyze stuff I said, now it's me, a little crib and a pup called Div. So for now I'm about to kick it, for now I'm about to chill. I've been weaning off the pills, now I'm weaning off the liquor. Here I go again, ducking off from authority. Rapping is my job, sobriety's a priority. Sammy loves carbs, carbs. Fettuccine carbonara, nar. Show a motherfucker that part when somebody try to say the same, the chat on got bars. I'm so well made and well paid. Little party, yet a lot of hell raised. Self-made since 12th grade and I never had to move to LA. Shut up.
Is it loud enough? Don't wanna fall. Can't do it on my own. Is it loud enough? Don't wanna fall.
I count every day.
Is it performative? Of course it is. I'm over you, I'm over that, I'm over this. Got a warrant, haven't been to Florida since. So now I get my oranges and poured it in. For the win. The sort of shit that caught me at the border with. In every crevice and crack and orifice. I sorta didn't, then again I sorta did. I don't know. Maybe this is where the plot thickens. Rock bottom is when you decide to stop digging. I can hear the timer on the clock ticking. When I'm gone, then baby, play this song for them. Wake me when October ends. Take me way back home again. Say hello and hey, we'll maybe still be sober then.
Is it loud enough? Don't wanna fall. Can't do it on my own. Is it loud enough? Don't wanna fall.
I count every day.
If you wanna bounce to it, you better bounce to it. Turn it up and let the 808 pound to it. Get loud, show them how you get down to it. And say set, and what Emmy let you out to me.
Bounce to it, you better bounce to it. Turn it up and let the 808 pound to it. Get loud, show them how you get down to it. And say set, and what Amy let you out to me.
Can't do it on my own.
I'm still right here. I'm still. I dusted off my bicycle this summer. Forgot what life was like outside my bubble. Today I woke and didn't hide under the covers. Shit, I might even kinda like who I'm becoming. Weird. I finally wised up. Been in every dive in town and didn't find much. I got smart and finally made my mind up. But playing tricks is a game that my mind loves. White knuckle, dry drunk. SSRIs to keep me blind and mind numbed. I was sober for 9 months and couldn't cry once. I thought I knew a lot, so I used a lot to tune out these intrusive thoughts. I rode bikes, overdosed twice. I met death and chose life. I know one day my music will be happy again.
I'm still right here. I'm still right here.
I know one day my music will be happy again. I'm still right here. I'm still. Yo, Sammy, what happened to you? I swear your rapping used to slap and you made happy music. I never felt quite like myself around people. Never bought clear, but I never turned it down either. It got very dark. I'm not sure I even cared, and that's the scary part. Now I barely recognize that guy in 80 bars. Very hard for me to hear. I cringe in nearly every bar. La 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 la. Maggie's mom couldn't even listen to Heavy Hearts. We tend to forget how human our parents are. Looking for validation at any cost. Always searching for something that we already got. Hey, the chow. The people I was hanging around, they never stayed around. As soon as that cocaine was out, but I don't blame them, how could I? I know one day my music will be happy again.
I'm still right here. I'm still right here.
I know one day my music will be happy again. wanna go ahead and make a left, then make another left. If you ever get lost, wait a second, take a breath, take a step straight ahead. You can't miss it. It didn't go exactly as you planned, did it? I grabbed whatever I had and I ran with it. Blinded by the money, the women, the ambition. I never sat and listened, asking who Sam is, and Sam isn't. Turn reality into fan fiction. It's mad simple, cause any react different as soon as you add liquor. Now everybody getting killed by fetting the press pill. I hate the fact that I never met Mac Miller. Rest in peace, Mac Miller.
There's a place beyond the pines. We can go there if I close my eyes. Shook the box to hear what's inside. But now I see the sunshine.
Look, sock it to me, not for nothing, might be onto something. Tear a dollar store down and put a coffee shop in. Till every great grandmother rolls out their coffin. Turn a drug dealer into a bud tender and profit off him. Dipped out of here long ago. Tried to fight the law until I lost hope. Put balloons on your roof, cause soon they'll turn a barbershop into a parking lot for a condo. I thought by 30 I'd turn into something worthy. I thought I learned to be earnest, the perfect person. I like to think I'm the man I pretend to be. I'm scared to have a son, cause what if he turns into me? Shit, I still can't believe they kill skis. I'm still alive, but I'll never be guilt-free. It still stings. My city flooded with fentanyl pills. Sheesh, I hate the fact that I'll never meet Lil P. Real shit.
All right, can you hear me? Check, check. Go ahead and get the chat popped up here. Good seeing you guys. I mean, it still boggles my mind today how many people show up. Even though it's been a couple months. And listen, as per usual, I don't have a good excuse. It's been a rough year. I was really going to give it a shot before the holidays to try to get back into it. But, a little bit after Thanksgiving, I don't know, I just went into this really hard depression, you know. It sucked. You know, I lost my mom in July. And for the first couple months, it was kind of like a movie. It was a little bit surreal. Like, it doesn't really hit you. And then, you know, being at the first Thanksgiving, the first Christmas, without them. I don't know. It just sent me into a different place. And I wouldn't say I'm truly out of it. And, you know, I don't know if that ever goes away. Like, I'll just be driving. And I'll see a sunset, you know, and I'll just think, you know, wish I could see, you know, see one more. So I just went into a hidey hole. Didn't really talk to people that much, but I'm trying to get the ball rolling mentally, and you know, just need a little bit of a push. So. Let me go ahead and switch up the screen here. I don't have my camera on today because honestly I don't know where I set it, but for next stream I probably will have it up, and I'll be streaming every 2 days. That's the plan. You know, if something happens and I need to go somewhere, that's one thing, but if everything stays normal, I'll be on every 2 days. But yeah, what's up, guys? It's been a while. I did get a sponsorship through Femex. So that is in the description. That's what I'll be using from now on. And hopefully in the future here, same thing like L Bank, I'll be doing giveaways with the money that they give me. But as of now, if you do need an excuse to go sign up for a different website, Femex I haven't really got a clear answer on it. But apparently everybody that signs up through my link is whitelisted and doesn't have to do KYC. Don't know how legal that is, to be honest with you. But if you guys need a Bybit-like website without KYC, this is an option. But I'm not going to shove it down your throats. As I told them and as I told L Bank, anything, those are the only two people I've ever taken any money from. I'm not going to sit here and shill for them. I'm not going to specifically like run advertisements every 30 minutes. I'm going to be using their website and, saying like, hey, the link's there if you guys want to use it. No harm, no foul. But it's been a while since I've really like sat down, stared at the chart. So let's just go ahead and start with the bare basics Bitcoin. So obviously the last couple of months, it has not done exactly what people wanted it to, but that's just the crypto market for you in general. And like I told you guys, way back when, I had a good feeling that this wasn't going to be the typical bull run. It just didn't make sense for it to, from like just like a bare bones basic level. We always use the analogy of the halvening being like a boulder being thrown into a pond, and then a lake, and then a reservoir, and then an ocean. When Bitcoin supply was a pond, it had a bigger impact. And we're starting to see that impact dwindle and dwindle and dwindle. Does not mean that it won't cause upwards momentum. And if the retail side of things continues with it, can we see explosive growth? Sure. But if the excitement isn't there, we will see upwards mobility, but it won't be what we're used to. So, good news is we have not broken back down below previous resistance. That's the main thing. This is our macro range here. So we have an all-time high of 109,000, give or take, depending on which exchange you're looking at. Our previous was 73K. And back then we talked about this range and how it was a possibility that we would break back down into it if things didn't continue to stay bullish. You can see how we retested it here. We held it as support, which is good to see. And we combine that with a multi-layer ABC here. And this was kind of your macro hedge. Now, obviously, it was a little bit of a rocky road to get to that point, but it had a huge payoff in the end. And that's kind of what we always go for. All right. It's not about these short-term ups when it comes to the macro hedges here. You might have entered here as a possibility. You might have entered here and here. So until we really got to the final point, there was 1, 2, 3, 4. You probably would have been stopped out on this wick down, but if this and that, it didn't create a new ABC, so therefore you followed the same one that you had before. So you had about 5 entries that possibly didn't work out in your favor before you finally hit that one. And obviously, depending on how risky you were being, let's say 2%, for example. I mean, at the all-time high here, we had a 51 R&R trade. So you lose 5, but you gain 51, so you're net positive 46. Obviously, a little bit less, but just to simplify it there. And for anybody that was paying attention while I was gone, we did have an A to a B to a C top, giving you a hedge short trade. Now, if I was continuing to play in the same macro setup here, I would no longer be holding this macro long from 53.5. My new macro hedge position would be here at 78,151. This is our newest, largest ABC. We have A to a B to a C. We put in that slightly lower low. That's what we want to see. And here we are. Now, I did not catch that entry. So on the smaller time frames, if we zoom in a little bit here, we did have a multi-layered ABC top crashing us back down. So at the moment, as I've always promoted, it's about looking into the future. What's the possibilities? So right now, if we have a full completed ABC to the downside, well, we need to be looking for a retest to the upside. All right, so if we go back and we look at our local highs within this trend, we would be looking at, obviously, the top of the B wave. So this is kind of where the market is probably more likely looking to retest here on the upwards trend. It doesn't exactly have to get there. All right, we'll talk about that in a second. And then our next would be roughly here. And then this is kind of like a zone of resistance. I wouldn't, you know, when you get really close resistances like this, and I'm basing that off of these trends here. Those are where I'm getting those tops from. You really wouldn't look at this as 3 layers of resistance, unless you're like a hyper trader, you know, looking for intraday trades. You'd be looking for more of kind of a rectangular zone of resistance here. So just trying to give yourself a more clear picture of what's happening. So market immediate retest of 95,214. And once again, that is what the market wants to do. Will it get there? We'll have to wait and see. It's all about probabilities here. Are we going to spin the wheel again, the CSGO wheel? Oh my goodness, I completely forgot about that. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, man. It's been so long. But yeah, maybe in the future. And I'll have to get you back for that. I'm so sorry. I haven't played CS in so long. I just sold everything out my inventory in one bulk sale. So I do apologize. But we will fix that soon. But like I said, it doesn't exactly have to get to 95,150. We do have a A to a B in the works, and we're starting to come up off that B. So obviously the next level of resistance that we'll be looking at here is more than likely 88,751. We could have a little bit of an extended wave all the way up to here. If that's the case, we would probably be looking for, hopefully, some sort of ABC top if it does want to get rejected off of that. If not, is what it is. We do have the larger trend if it does just put in a short top here. So that's what we'll be looking for our next potential trade. KDA. I know how everybody's feeling about KDA. Trust me, me too. And it just sucks. You know, it was... I explained this to my friend Mark. He's like, Kai, how could you do this to me? How could you get me to invest in KDA? And once again, I'm going to stand by what I said, because I was very upfront about it as well. I'm not like a KDA fanboy. I'm not going to sit here and spout technology and all that kind of stuff. I've done many transfers with it, and I do like how quick and easy and cheap it is. But there's a lot of coins that do that as well. But more importantly, it was just the risk to reward ratio that you could get off a coin like this. And unfortunately, we have not, or maybe will not, see the bull market that we were hoping for, where money is flying around into alts. People are trying to make extra cash here and there. And I truthfully hope that there's a second phase to this bull market, but we can't always count on it, right? So it was a simple risk to reward trade. The circulating supply versus how much money would have to come into the market cap for KDA to see anything substantial. And unfortunately, just haven't seen it yet. We started to see it, started to get excited. I was definitely in a heavy bit of profit, but unfortunately, things fell through. I still am in a trade on it. just to show a little bit of faith here. Nothing crazy. With the FEMX account, as always, starting off with a small amount here. But these are the current trades I'm in. Bitcoin long, KDA long. And then the KDA long, that's simply based off of this ABC entry here, coinciding with where Bitcoin currently is as well. That's on the smaller chart, but obviously if we zoom out to the macro here, all right, we can see, was that a direct test or was that a slightly lower low? It didn't get the lower low, did it? Maybe on another exchange. But we're pretty much at support. All right, this was our previous ABC here. Then obviously this is our macro low here. So it's coinciding with the previous ABC, which got up to $2.03. So hopefully things continue in that direction. But if it falls through, it falls through. Let me know if any of the elements on the screen are too small for you guys to see. I can always zoom in. You want ADA? ADA? I'll give it to you. Yeah, I'm going to try to keep the streams as early as possible. Shooting for somewhere around 7 to 8 my time. It's currently 8:22. That way, like if you are in Australia or somewhere else, you know, it'll be late, but hopefully not ungodly late, you know, like 4 a.m. in the morning, when everybody should be asleep unless you're a lifestyle influencer dipping your head in an ice water bath. All right, so with ADA, if we're looking at this from a daily time frame, unfortunately, we are below. Now, it's not unfortunate due to the fact that it doesn't look like it's necessarily adhering to this level of resistance here. We do have a little bit of a whipsaw pattern, which really is not good for trading. Whoever got caught up in that probably got slapped, to be honest with you. But you know, just for the sake of it, we'll plot it out. We do have an A to a B to a C. All right, so unfortunately, we are below the top of the A. And at the moment, we are currently in the C wave of this pattern here. Now, it doesn't exactly have to get all the way down there. That's just from a macro perspective, what the market is probably trying to do. On the medium time frames, we do have a completed ABC and confirmed to the upside right here. So we barely have put in that pattern. So I mean, I wouldn't say it's impossible to catch it now if you are interested in that. Obviously, you wouldn't want to go too crazy if you were entering now. You still want your stop loss to be below that support level, which I don't know if you're interested in an 8% stop loss. Definitely not the best when looking for risk to reward ratio trades here. But with it coinciding with Bitcoin's try to the upside to maybe complete this ABC if we are going to continue to the downside. But hopefully it's kind of a repeat scenario of what happened down here, where we simply had to come back down to retest previous resistance, confirm support, which is what we were doing here. You know, we haven't quite got all the way down, so there could be one more possible, you know, maybe this is an A to a B to a C, which turns into an A to a B to a C. We get that retest of previous resistance, confirm support, and then get back above the A here. If that trade did come along, I probably would use a tad bit more risk on it, just because of the larger pattern here, and then maybe a little bit thicker of a stop loss going into the future. Personal thoughts on ADA? Personal thoughts, like on the founder, the technology, or just the chart? Because you know me, I stick to charts around here. I really don't have, a dog in the race when it comes to these coins. Bitcoin obviously is easy to root for because I'm not really rooting for a person. Yeah, I get it. We can always like founders and think they're good people, and I'm sure many of them are. I'm just not interested in that aspect. I'm interested in numbers, risk to reward. What can I see? What do I control? Because when you have a face attached to a company or anything like that, or branding, it can always falter. Long-term viability. Honestly, I am not the best person to ask for that. Because if you would have asked me a year and a half ago whether or not XRP was ever coming back, if XRP was, going to have a valiant return, I probably would have said, we would see gentle upwards growth if they ever got rid of the lawsuit, but it would never come back in a significant way. But here we are. XRP did phenomenal. A lot of people made a lot of money, and I'm glad they did. But yeah, like there's no easy answer. So I stick to what I know, and that's what can I see in the chart? Because from there we can plot out, 3 possible points, plan for the future. If something goes wrong, we have a backup plan. But if a founder is found embezzling money and lying and cheating, that's not something I can plan on. And what's the backup plan for that? Sell while everybody else is, So I just choose to just go with the flow. That's why I never got wrapped up in spouting KDA's founder and packed coding language and all that kind of stuff, because everything can fail. But risk reward ratio, it's a simple game we play. If it would have worked out in our favor, it would have worked out massively. But if it doesn't work out in our favor, as long as we're cool, level-headed people, we lose nothing significant. And that's the whole name of the game. That's like every founder, Kite. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I mean, when it comes to like meme coins, you can almost make that case every time that if they created the meme coin in some way or another, they are embezzling and, making a lot of money no matter what. But sorry, guys. It's going to take me a little bit to get back into the flow of things. I don't remember my groove. I used to be on here chatting about nothing in particular for hours. And, I don't know. My mind's blank. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but my mind is blank today. So I'm open to suggestions for coins or any hot topics you guys want to talk about. I still haven't really explored Femex for everything they have. So far, I mean, with the things that I'm used to, I do like it. I do like how they have market conditionals, which unfortunately, and more importantly, market conditionals with the ability to set up a pre-planned stop loss. That is one thing that L-Bank was dropping the ball on. I sent them multiple messages about it. I don't have anything against L-Bank. It's just, you know, as I stopped streaming, our partnership kind of came to a close. I still think it's a very viable website, and I've used it here and there in the downtime when I wasn't streaming. But Femex did reach out to me a couple weeks ago, so figured I'd work something out. Get a little get back. Trump coin. I mean, shoot, we can look at the chart, but typical meme coin chart. Is there anything with more? Is that all of the? Yeah, I mean, that seems to be all of the price action here. It does look like it's starting to bottom out, but am I in any way implying to touch this with a 10-foot stick? No. But we are starting to get some sort of semblance of a bottom. This is our current level of macro support, which we are currently below. So you don't want to see that. All right. If you know, for any reason, if I wanted to be bullish on this coin, for any reason, I would need to see it get back above there. That would I would appreciate. But I haven't bought any. Don't plan on buying any. It's the same thing as 2020. I don't ever buy shitcoins. I'm just not into that gambling game at all. If we're in the midst of like a hyper bull market where I can really see that money is really just going places for no good reason, and it doesn't look like there's any sort of slowdown, yeah, I'll go stick, you know, $500 to $1,000 in some shitcoin. And the second I see a 2x, I'm gone. I'm not waiting for a 10x on a shitcoin. I'm not waiting for a 100x on a shitcoin. As soon as I see a 2x, I'm gone. You know, back then we had the analogy where it's like a bank that just has money sitting on the counters with a free sign. But inside of that bank, hidden, there is a time bomb. And nobody knows when that clock hits zero. So there's those greedy people that will sit in that bank. You know, they'll take $100 and then they'll go to Walmart and they'll buy a wagon. They'll come back. They'll fill up the wagon with the money that they made off of that. They'll go buy a truck. They'll come back. They'll fill up the truck. And, you know, the entire time, they're just greedy and greedy. And then all of a sudden, they're in the bank, and the bank goes boom. It was all for nothing. So get in, get out. That's my best advice. April Fools, we're going to zero. No, I mean, you know, as of right now, I can't necessarily be bearish at all. As always, there's always somebody in chat. No matter what I say, there's always a wrong answer. Like when we were back here, you know, especially when we were below the bottom of this A here. You know, I was saying, okay, well, we definitely could break down into the 38K to 49K range going forward. But, you know, once we get back above the A, we put in the significant reversal pattern here. As long as we stay above that, I'm bullish. So same thing goes here. You know, if this live stream was a couple months back here and we were at the ABC top, I would be bearish. That's the thing. It's kind of hard to be bearish when you're at the all-time high. But if I see an ABC top, well, at least at the very minimum, I'll be targeting the local low and then any significant supports and resistances within a macro setup. So at first I'll be targeting this and then further down. Yeah, we haven't been much of day traders around here for quite a while. I mean, the most I'll go down to is maybe a 2 to 3 hour. Obviously, I was looking for something to get into, but it's all in combination with the macro here. You know, my macro setup is bullish. And then I can see an A to a B with a small ABC on the B wave. So to me, obviously we could do a little bit of this. All right, that is very, very possible going forward here. And then we finally go for that. But you never know. So I just took the trade. So even though I did take a trade off this tiny ABC, it's in combination with the macro and kind of what the medium is looking to do. So still thinking big here. Still thinking big. Not necessarily a day trade. It could take us a couple days to reach that last local high for sure. Where the hell have you been, Kite? Taking super galactic mind expanding psychedelic adventures in the deserts of knowledge? I wish. It's hard to get that stuff where I'm currently at. I'm sure there's some pop-up vendors that sell magic mushroom chocolate bars. It's kind of like a legal loophole here. Psychedelic mushrooms are decriminalized where I live, so you can't get arrested for it, and you technically can't sell it. But what you can do is you can say, hey, if you buy this overpriced phone charger that I got for $2, but you're going to buy for $40, I'll throw in, you know, a 3.5 gram magic mushroom chocolate bar for free. And technically that's legal. You know, obviously I know I'm there to get the chocolate bar. The phone charger is just an added bonus. But I haven't really felt the need to. I've been on plenty of trips in my life. Probably more than the average human. So it's not always, you know, something I'm in search for. How about the USA to indicate quantitative easing, which has been solely indicated in the FOMC meetings, DXY, 10-year job reports. The UST to indicate. How are you using the word indicate here? Because I mean, quantitative easing is nothing new. Every country, USA included, has been doing it for that's 30, 40 years. Do I agree with how it works? No. But there's give and take. I do like some of the things that are happening in the government right now, but obviously not everybody has the same viewpoint, and I totally understand that. To me, the biggest problem with most governments is it's like a bundle of wires. You know, if there's a problem, like, you know, let's say you need to plug in something or figure out where there's a short. It takes too long and too much money in order to get to the point where you figure out exactly where that short or that problem is coming from. I do wish governments were built more modular, like a PC. Like, when there's something wrong with my PC and I don't quite know what, everything is modular. I can pop one part out and then see if, you know, maybe it's a dead RAM stick. You know, it's very easy to diagnose and have personal accountability for a single component. And because of that, it's efficient. And right now we don't have that. So hopefully, that's what we're working towards. I say BTC to 143K this year. Don't see why not. Macro be damned. I mean, that's perfectly plausible. Obviously, my goal was, I think, 173 to 200,000, because usually the Fibonacci's are we mostly overextend. Let's see here. Yeah, 173,000, which I think is still totally doable. I think it's just it's a slow grind here, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But can you buy spores and clean in a clean bin, make your own? Yeah, I mean, I don't know how legal it is to admit this online, but for a long time, yeah, we had our own little farm going of penis envy mushrooms, which, as they were growing, I then understood why they were called penis envy. Because one, they look like little dicks, but at the same time, like, the entire time that you're growing, you're looking through the little, like, plastic at them, and you're like, oh God, I can't wait for you to be done. So you're, you know, from a distance, you're envying the mushroom and hoping the day that you'll be, you know, it is what it is. But it's funny how they got their name, and I can see why. Whip out those cheeks, buddy. These cheeks are not yours today. Yeah. Back when we were at this point, you know, I definitely, you know, not to toot my own horn here, but I did say it was going to be a slow climb to the top. I did think it was going to be a little bit less aggressive than this, to be honest. I didn't expect this breakout here, but all things granted, it's and I don't get it, you know, to this day. I mean, I have all these explanations on why it could work, but to this day, it still boggles my mind how many months can go by. I can look back at the chart and I can go, oh yeah, ABC bottom, ABC top, boom, boom. Like, it's mind-boggling from a macro perspective. And you can have a macro perspective on a smaller time frame. I'm just talking about, like, thinking about the larger picture on why things happen. How well ABCs just happen. And it's not every market where they're that splendid, and sometimes, yeah, you do get these rough triple bottoms, but for the most part, like I just said, you know, you lose 5 trades, but you gain a 50 R&R, so what's the big deal, dude? But like up here, man, like, come on. Like, how much more clear of a picture do you need to tell you, like, ABC top? Some sort of retest is going to happen if we continue to hold below that. Like, it's mind-blowing. And it's just a weird feeling that, like, something that people view as so complicated, so intricate, how, like, you know, how El Salvador and the supply and the demand and the blah and the blah. And then you look at the chart and it's ABC. Like, come on. It's beautiful, it's mind-blowing, and it's actually kind of aggravating. That, like, you know, people spend so much time. And no, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of reasons to spend time. You know, there's plenty of botnets that do micro trades, and there's plenty of strategies. But to be honest, for like the every dude that's got a job, dude doesn't want to sit here all day. Like, there was 2 things to pay attention to in like the last year. This and this. That was it. And now we do have something slight building. It could be this. You know, that could be the bottom there. Do got a feeling that we might want to go down a little bit lower. But hey, that's not for me to decide. You know, I'm definitely looking for this to more turn into a larger structure here. And I would be a little bit more confident if that was the case on upside. And then obviously, hopefully, continuation of the upside. I would say you're right, TCF, to a person who's new to the strategy and a little bit more reactive. But to me, like, the more and more that you use ABCs, the more you start to trust it. So, like, I don't need to see, you know, all of this price action to see, okay, I have an ABC top. Just like how right now, I don't need to see a C wave with continuation to the downside to know that the next possible pattern in the next possible trade would be this here. It would be, oh, didn't mean to click that. It would be a short position from here. Like, the more that you use it, the more that you can see, like, okay, well, this connects to that. This could connect to that. If this pattern is in play, then this is what the market wants to retest or is trying to retest, so on and so on. Cali Trader, bro, how often you going live? The plan is an on-day, off-day schedule. So tomorrow I will not be here, but the day after that I will. And I'm going to be aiming for around 7 to 8 Eastern Standard Time. I'm not going to be like posting a schedule or anything until like I adhere to it for quite a while. That way, like, it's locked in stone. But yeah, and then, I mean, the main reason for that is I do have an agreement with FEMX that I'll be doing a live stream every other day. So, like I said, not gonna shove it down your throats. Just small advertisements here and there. It's not in my contract that I have to advertise you guys, but you know, if you guys are looking for an exchange where you don't have to KYC, FEMX is here. And if you sign up with my link in the description, you are whitelisted. If you don't sign up with that link, then you do have to KYC. Like I said, don't know how legal that is, but it's something they're willing to do. God bless them. Can you explain ABCs? So, in the very basic terms, I think ABCs are just simplified human psychology put onto a chart. So you think about the A. All right, the A symbols upwards growth. It symbols the party. All right, people are excited, they're interested, and the party is going. And maybe it gets to the point where people start getting a little bit tired, or maybe a little bit anxious. You know, maybe the party's getting a little bit too loud. Maybe the cops are going to show up. So at that point, you know, maybe they get a little bit anxious. So we have a little bit of a pullback. And then, you know, it doesn't dump straight off a cliff. So they go, okay, maybe there is a little bit more juice in this. So the overzealous human nature, always trying to push limits, we get a slightly higher high, or maybe a slightly lower low, because they are unsure whether or not we can hold that region, so they go back down to retest it. But it stays strong, so we bounce back up. Well, in this case scenario, this is an upwards ABC, so we come back up to the resistance here, and we push a little bit past it. And why do I think pushing a little bit past or below is more significant than a direct double top or a direct double bottom? To me, that indicates that the resistance was so strong that even though that most people that breakout trade got a signal to go long, the market still fell back below resistance or bounced back above support. It signals extra strength, either bullish or bearish, and that is momentum that we can use into our play. And then when you combine that with a hedge trading strategy, where you are carrying with momentum, but then planning for the worst, at that point you have a winning play. So the whole goal here is you're looking for like ABC macro trades. So in this case, we would have an ABC top here. So then you would take a short position from here. You would set up a decent stop loss, nothing crazy like a 20%, but you know, maybe like a 1%, 2%, 3%. And you are not inflicting judgment. And this is the key to it all. All right, no matter what you think is going to happen, everybody has opinions on where price action is going to go, where it's going to stop, blah, 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 blah. You do not pass judgment on what can happen, because there's things out of your control. You know, every time this comes up, I point to the fact that I was in a short trade because of an ABC when FTX crashed. And I did not pass judgment, so therefore I held through the entire short. And I made a significant amount of profit because of that. So in this case, you would set up your short trade, and let's say the market does have a pullback. And maybe we don't, you know, fall all the way back down to where we started, but then we get, you know, an ABC bottom here. All right, so now you would set up an ABC long trade, set up a decent stop loss, and now you have what's called a hedge. Okay, now a lot of people think hedge trading is useless. Let me tell you why it's not. Okay, people say, well, Austin, between this point here and this point here, I am no longer making money. So what's the point in hedge trading? The point in hedge trading is being human. You don't know what's going to happen. You can sit here and watch every Fed meeting. You can go watch every YouTuber and get every opinion known to man, every indicator, and there's never going to be a right answer. Of course, something is going to have a semblance of being correct, but in all honesty, it's a coin flip. So what do you do when you have a coin flip? You bet on both sides. You get your take. So if you were lucky enough to have your hand play into the correct trade, when you take that hedge trade, what you're essentially doing is locking in these profits without getting rid of the potential for more. So let's say, for example, the bearish momentum is quite strong, and we have a simple retest But then maybe a black swan event, and the market continues to dump. And you did not let go of this trade, so therefore you continue to reap the benefits while losing a small bit of profit from the stop out on the long trade. And let me try, how do I select all this again here? I'll just move it one by one here. Just trying to get some open space here. And then, like I said before, like when you're carrying momentum, let's say that price action then comes back up and then creates another equal to or more significant size structure versus the one that you originally planned on. What you would do then is then as soon as this C goes above the A, you take profit. Okay? Because if the market is going to maintain a bearish setting, then it will be from the next largest or equal to bearish pattern. So you took profit not at the very bottom, but rather when the market told you to. So that would be right here. So if this was the exact trade that you took, it would be a 10 R&R trade. So you got stopped out once in this example. Obviously, it doesn't always work like that in reality, but you got stopped out once on the long trade. So that's a -1 R&R. And then you cashed out with a 11 R&R, so you're up 10. So then, if the market does want to maintain a bearish setting, well then, you would be short from here now and carry it continuously downwards. And then, so maybe it does go back down a little bit. You're short from here, but then you get a long trade. And then that long trade continues to the upside, comes back down, gives you another long trade. So now you take the long position that you were in here, you close it out here, and you enter from here. And then you would probably be short from about here. So it's an ongoing thing where you're letting market momentum and small signs of reversal carry you through to profit. That's what ABCs are. So like right now, you would be, in the past, you would be long from here, short from here, and then this isn't necessarily equal to or larger setup, but we are above resistance. So you have multiple confluences. You have ABC long with added layer of support. So I would say it's applicable to go ahead and take profits on this long position and then open up the new one here while still holding the short position from here. Crypto Keeper, have a good night, buddy, if you're still here. If not, I'll see you soon. In the future, are you going to be doing live trades? That's the thing. Like, if a trade develops live, if we're sitting at like an entry point, you'll see me enter and exit, get stopped out. It's all dependent on what's going on. Like right now, I mean, this trade was made last night based off of the smaller ABC trade here. A to a B to a C. And then what I'm counting on is that this is an A to a B to a larger C. And then this will be my hedge position. So at first, it's about getting kind of lucky. All right. Now, obviously, we have an edge. We have ABCs, which tend to have a likelihood of working out. But there's a little bit of luck involved. So you do got to get your trades going, and you got to like work your way into it. But as you work your way in and out, you start having macro trades for large profit, medium trades for medium profit, and if you wanted to go so far, micro trades. But I'm just not that into micro trading. It's just not my thing. Used to be. But every once in a while, when I'm excited, for the hell of it, I'll use low risk and take micro trades. But it's a very easy way to get caught up in the sauce. And then you just kind of lose the plot. And then you lose your money. And then you lose your mind. Says, is trading this strategy your primary income? It used to be. To be completely open and honest, the problem was never making the money. The problem was spending the money, putting the money away for rainy days, and not to sound arrogant, but being too generous. I don't regret being generous, but there's a lot of situations I got myself into because of my willingness to just give people money. A lot of people owe me a lot of money, and it's very slow to get that back. So I just have to be more careful with that in the future. But, I spent so much money on things that I didn't need for like maybe a sense of ego. And like I said, even with the generosity thing, I don't regret. Obviously, there's some semblance of regret in how I did things, but it's important to look at the lessons learned. Because from the age of 18 to the age of 21, I mean, with the trading strategy and just everything I had going for me, I mean, it was a money printer. I mean, I was making $15,000 a trade. And when money just shows up out of nowhere, when you had to put no work in, I mean, ABCs are brain dead. Obviously, there's psychology to it and how you manage your risk and all that stuff. But I've been doing it so long that to me, it's brain dead. That if you do it correctly, it's, not to sound like an infomercial, it's free money. And when you have that kind of psychology where money just flies in for no good reason, you don't treat it well. So to me, I do regret the decisions I made, but I love the lessons that I learned. Because to go from 18 to having more money than I know what to do with, and then basically blowing it up. And it wasn't from lost trades either. It was just bad decisions. Buying stuff, getting into loans, taxes, just everything accumulating and not looking out for it. I'm very extremely lucky to have that happen to me. Because the way that I look at it is to have that experience at such a young age and then learn how important it is to do things properly sets me up for a very, very successful future. I could have been 45 years old, had a wife and 3 kids, a mortgage, car loans, You know, I could have built up an entire life where everything was reliant on not having a single domino fall. And I could have had that happen to me. And now I put an entire family that I love at risk. So there's worse things that could have happened. So now, knowing what I know, I'll make sure that never happens. So you made a lot of money trading this strategy, but gave away too much of it. So now you're building it back up again. Yeah, it got to that point. Like, I just didn't manage it well. That was my fault. I knew how to make the money. I just didn't know how to manage it. I mean, what more can you expect from an 18-year-old, 20-year-old that's too smart to do all that, but doesn't have enough life experience to really care? So I'm proud of what I did, and I regret decisions along the way, but that's life. Where do you think crypto stands in 10 years? I mean, I think it's got a very, very bright future. I don't think every crypto is going to be around, obviously. I'm more than certain Bitcoin will be. And right now it's no one's fighting for Bitcoin's position. That's gone. Bitcoin's gold. Yes, is it slow, quote unquote, in comparison to a lot of these other coins, of course, but it's the gold of crypto. It's a little bit heavier, you know. But Bitcoin will be used for big transactions, cars, homes, paying off loans, stuff like that. In 10 years, I think Bitcoin will probably be $700,000. That's a very disappointing answer, isn't it? And, that's just me trying to be pessimistic, realistic, whatever you want to call it. But crypto market cap as a whole is what you mean? What are we sitting at now? How many trillions? $2.7 trillion. I'd say like 10 to 15. I'm just pulling those numbers out of my ass. I'm not an economist here. But, you just see the way things are going. You can go down to your local Food Lion. They got a Bitcoin ATM. You can go on your local Craigslist. There's some dude selling a car that accepts Bitcoin. El Salvador. Trump announcing crypto reserve. Which, to be honest, I don't know why they didn't do that in the first place. That was kind of a dumb idea. For them to just now begin to it. Because what they did before is all the Bitcoin that they seized off of like Silk Road and the dark web and stuff like that, they would auction it. But I'm like, why don't they just keep it and build up a reserve? Like, you could have been doing that the entire time. Like, if you really think crypto's nothing, then it's nothing, Just let it sit on a hard drive somewhere Go put in one of your caves. Buzz Hernandez, you said any other indicators or just ABC? Sorry, I got to your message a little bit late here. Just ABC. Every once in a while, I'll look at the RSI for divergences. But that's the thing. There's not always a divergence when there's an ABC. But to me, ABCs have more significance. You know, if I bring up the RSI here, we'll see if that had a divergence. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Now, I like to use 125 RSI length. And the reason for that is I like looking at the bigger picture. I don't like looking at micro adjustments. But here, all right, we had a divergence. We had A to B, A to B. That's a standard bearish divergence. But regardless of if there was a divergence here or not, I would have taken that trade. Right here, we had a divergence. Standard bullish. Right here, we got divergence. So yeah, RSI can be helpful, but it's nothing that I wouldn't have taken a trade off of in the first place. But yeah, I mean, I moved away from indicators a long time ago. I think my first ever indicator, you know, that I really paid for, like put time into, was Market Cipher. And the problem with indicators is not that you can't have some sort of strategy that works with them. I do believe that every indicator, to some extent, can be useful in terms of creating a strategy for risk to reward. As long as you have a good base for the other factors that make a profitable trader, any indicator, you can come up with something. But it's the simple psychology of what an indicator does. It gives you a feeling of overconfidence. There can be conflicting things happening. So for me, in order for me to be successful, I had to simplify what I was doing. And I don't claim that ABCs are like the most profitable thing to ever, you know, grace crypto YouTube. That's not the point. For me, ABCs, what they allow me to do is to look at things objectively in a yes or no fashion and pre-plan and plan around what the market is showing me to hopefully have the most favorable outcome. Simple as that. At the end of the day, all I need is net positive. Beyond that, compounding will take effect, and no matter how small the wins are, they'll be large to somebody. If you have a portfolio of $2 million and you take a 0.5% risk trade and you hit a 10 risk reward ratio, what is that? That's $10,000 of risk. So then you're looking at $100,000 on a win and maybe you lost twice, so you lost 20K, so you net positive 80K. So you're using a very significantly small risk, but to somebody else, you just made 2 times their yearly wage just in a series of trades. And then, of course, you got to take that 80K of capital gains and go pay 25% taxes on it. But yeah. Hey, Kite, there's been a big ABC on the NASDAQ. Yeah, let's go check out the NASDAQ. Ooh, I see, I see. Yeah, definitely juicy. So we had an ABC top here with a pretty harsh, significant retest to the downside. Obviously, we would be looking at local lows as our possible level of support first. But if we do happen to form a structure in the meantime, yeah, I mean, that's there. You know, ABC bottom here. It is confirmed to the upside. We are back above the A, and we are kind of in that support range. We don't exactly have to touch it, but yeah, that's a really good sign that we're starting to bottom out here. Now it might be a simple retest, and then maybe push down lower, but then we get a larger ABC structure, which then we end up confirming, and then from there we can do what we got to do to figure things out. Yeah, you got the eyeballs. You got the ABC eyeballs for sure. Good spot. Is the SPY looking the same? Yes, it is. It is definitely looking the same. Yeah. We have kind of bottoms across the board here. I think it mainly came from like all the hysteria about tariffs, stuff like that. But, you know, say what you want about Trump. He's securing some deals here. I'm really excited about the chip manufacturing thing from a like gamer's perspective. Having local chip manufacturing for NVIDIA and AMD and stuff like that, will make processors and graphics cards hopefully a bit more accessible in terms of cheap. I don't necessarily think that MSRPs are going to go down. You know, one can only hope. But like, you know, if you give a dog a bone, he's going to want 2. So like if NVIDIA raises their MSRP price on their flagships to 2,000 and people are willing to pay 2,000, why would they ever charge lower than that ever again? You know, that kind of thing, unless there's competition coming from AMD on their flagship side and they're offering a lower price, but that's a whole debacle in itself. But the biggest problem with, you know, the computer market at the moment is scalping. You know, there's such a limited supply that people are taking advantage of it. You know, they go to their local micro center and they, you know, use a whole bunch of fake IDs or hire people to go purchase graphics cards because they set limits. And, you know, one person will have 20, 50, 90s sitting in their basement that they paid MSRP for. And then they make a 25% surcharge on that, which half the time it's 50%. So that's the biggest problem. So, I mean, if the supply can increase a good bit where that's no longer the case and people are incentivized to be scalpers, and I got no issue with it, man. Like, does it suck? Oh, yeah, it sucks. It sucks very hard. But, like, hey, man, I'm all for free market. And if they want to go do that, be my guest. If that's your hustle, that's your hustle. It is what it is. and that's just for PC components. Like, if a hurricane hits and you're buying all the bottles of water and then upcharging, oh, you're not going to live there anymore. Like, then we got an issue. Bad things will happen. But, you know, for graphics cards where it's like, hey, you know, there is other options out there. You don't need a 5090. Then do what you got to do to survive, my man. No harm, no foul. The second you start taking basic resources from people, bad things will happen. Agreed. Agreed. I think a free market creates a healthier, smarter population. When people are sheltered through regulation, people will find ways around that regulation to take advantage of the people that don't know any better because they've never been exposed to it. Take MLMs, for example. They find ways around regulation, and because, you know, on the surface they look like a legitimate business because they passed, you know, U.S. inspections or whatever the process is, people assume that that business is legitimate and it can do no wrong, so they fall for it. But if we live in a free market where MLMs are allowed to exist and people get burnt by them, well, then there's going to be a lot more buzz about it. People aren't going to fall for it anymore. So then they're going to go out of business anyways. You know? And I mean, it's always evolving. Of course, someone's going to come up with a new concept to trick people, but that's just the name of the game. You know, we need to be able to root out bad actors on our own. If we leave it to Big Daddy, then we have no choice but to trust everything. Because how did they get past inspection if it wasn't good for me? All right, guys. Don't want to burn myself out here, so I'll be back on today's Tuesday, right? Tuesday. So I'll be back on Thursday, around 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I look forward to it. Like I said, going forward in the future, hopefully I can get some set up with the giveaways, just to get people more excited about the sponsorship. Because obviously, I do, in order to maintain the partnership, I do need people to sign up. But once again, I'm not like gonna not do a tit for tat on that. You know, I do want to give something away if people are willing to sign up and transfer. I do believe the current campaign on my referral link. First off, you know, like I said, there's no whitelist. I mean, there's a whitelist so that you don't have to do KYC, which is pretty cool. And then beyond that, I think if you deposit $500 and make a single trade, I think it's $150 trading bonus, which not too bad. So I appreciate you if you sign up, but no big deal if you don't. I know we all got websites that we've been using for many, many years, me included. But all right, guys, I appreciate you very much. It's really cool to see that this many people show up after such a long time. But I know crypto YouTube is starving. I think it's now is the best time to come back. Didn't plan on it, but you know, I think we're at a low point here. So I think things could get exciting into the future. Maybe one more stretch to the upside. You know, as time goes on, that $73,000 level doesn't look as likely, but there's always hope. So I truly appreciate you guys. And if any trades continue to be made, they will be posted to the Discord once again. I've been kind of absent. Like I said, I've been absent for myself, more importantly. I just haven't been taking care of myself mentally, physically. I just been depressed. Like I said, it's not unique, Everybody probably goes through it at one point. And I just don't got any real answer. But hopefully life goes on and we can get back into the flow of things. Make some money. That's what America's all about. Making money. All right, guys. I appreciate your time today, as always. And if you are interested in the Patreon, the price is significantly dropped. It's just going to be an additive thing. I think it's... I don't even know what I have it set to now. What is this? Hey, let me check real quick. I just haven't seen the Patreon homepage in so long. Well, at least I had to log in. I'm always on my thing. I think it's like $12 or $15. Let's see. Hold on. $17. I think that's a respectable price. Yeah, that's an option if you guys want to get connected with other people to chat about ABCs, possibly altcoins that I'm not going to be interested in, but other people might be. So yeah, I appreciate you. Let's go ahead and select a song for the outro today. Been on a Sam LaChow kick recently, but find something here. What do we got? Yeah, that's a good one. All right, guys. I'll see you on Thursday. I love you. I need you. And I can't do the staring thing, so I'll just give you what I've always given you. Bye.
There's always trouble in paradise, so just stare at the lights. If you're blinded by it, you can see who's not by your side. There's always trouble in paradise, just focus on the tides. If it's loud enough, then you can hear what's been on your mind.
The fall to the bottom is subtle. I'm chasing joy, but I'm followed by trouble. Try to stay positive, sorry I struggle, but even a king can get lost in the shuffle. Hang on, I'm busy, I'll call in a couple. I know I'm coping and calling it hustle. My circle shrank, but my volume has doubled. I hope it replaces my mom saying love you. I'm way too uploaded as shit, faded as fuck. My body is dizzy and loose. I'm dope like a frisbee, the water is Tiffany blue.
There's always trouble in paradise, so just stare at the lights. If you're blinded by it, you can see who's not by your side. There's always trouble in paradise. focus on the tides. If it's loud enough, then you can hear what's been on your mind.
Ain't nothing changed but the height of my walls. Oh, I can hide like a spider can crawl. I always ride for my dogs, but when I need love, I'm the one who's providing it all. Being my hero has become the norm. Burning these bridges is keeping me warm. Burning these bridges is keeping me warm. When it gets too high, I just chief up a storm. I'm way too up, loaded as shit, faded as fuck. My body is dizzy and loose. I'm throwed like a frisbee, the water is Tiffany blue.
There's always trouble in paradise, so just stare at the lights. If you're blinded by it, you can see who's not by your side. There's always trouble in paradise, just focus on the tides. If it's loud enough, then you can hear what's been on your mind. The fall to the bottom is subtle. I'm chasing joy, but I'm followed by trouble.